Hey, Tyler. Sometimes we as adults, we get a chance to talk to one another. I'm out here chilling in the back of a schoolyard. I just wanted to say congratulations on you and your brand new son, and hopefully your brand new family as well. I guess it feels good to be rich, but in my mind, I'm always thinking about the Lord, you know. And I'm also thinking about how he transformed me to come back into my body. My first outer experience was with a woman who hit me upside my head with a jug, and she was a drunk person. So, every now and then, give or take, I may decide I want to take a drink. But I'm not crazy about drinking because my father died as a vegetable. And I see that the legacy of Kunta Kinte and Fiddle is always on a rampant, you know. And I also noticed that Georgia slaves are different from Baltimorean slaves. And initially, I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey. I'm not even from Baltimore. So I'm like, Moses' child, raised up in Baltimore. And I know how Baltimoreans are. But when it comes to people who are well to do off, thank you, well to do off, and they have the increments like that, I'll be 54 years old. I'm quite sure we're about the same age.
Right?
I'm fine.
I said, let me get you some water.
We're about the same age, because we up there in that age bracket. For a long time, I wanted to um, be an entertainer, but my entertainment years were like when I was a child. Nowadays, I find that I had to deal with the whole scenario of being in this kind of limbo stage with slavery. So we know the new slavery is either you have or you don't have. And that's what Trump presents himself as being more of a predominant, domineering person because he really don't care about black people at all. And I done had 3 dreams about him. And tell you a story about my tooth being missing. I bought it. I bought 3 of them. And in my house, because I believe I went through my inner outer body experiences, you know, my first inclination was being hit upside the head, and I actually seen my soul rise up out of my body, and then God put her back inside of me. So each year, I see that kind of scenario takes place when the month of Ramadan comes around. And believe me, I understand Christianity, Buddhism, and all of that. As Jesus said, I'm a servant of God. Nobody's perfect, but the perfection that lies with people most of the time is that they have more than what the next person has. And that means increments because you can have one car and still have more than what the next person have. You can have 2 houses and you can have still more than what the next person has. And as far as my spirituality is concerned, I observe the spirituality of mankind. And that's why I am like this. You got 2 eyes, there's 1 book. But remember, those books was mounted together. See? They was mounted together. And I'll tell you something about these fingers. This finger is symbolic to God. Okay? He has many names. In Arabic, we say Allah. And then he has 99 names. And then he professed to give certain anchors of responsible people part of those names as well. So there's a prayer and a supplication that's called Dua Jamila. And maybe one day, I'll tell you about Dua Jamila. I'm one of them. Just one. But when you go in through your inner outer body experiences, your inner outer body experiences take you through formalities of the goodness of you and the death of you. So every last one of us, we go through the sleep of death. That's a form of death. And then some of us go through more activities of death, and that's called surgery. And then some of us go through a complete out, where you shot, crucified, or whatever the case may be. When the Messiah comes back, he's going to have 2 wives. Remember that. He's going to have 2 wives. He's going to break the cross. He's going to kill the swine. And he's going to break the jizya. The jizya is the taxes that people are so bombarded with when it comes to life insurance, house insurance, car insurance, all kinds of insurance. And you know what they be doing on the phone. They're always manipulating on interest. So that's how Trump got where he's at right now today, because he's been doing that for the longest when it comes to houses and properties. But I'm happy for you. I'm not sad for you, but I'm happy for you. I'm not going to blow up my wall, would just keep coming on and on, submitting myself to your requests, because it's just taken away from that which I already have on there, so everything else is being pushed down. So I decided to go ahead and make myself another page. That's why I invited you to my next page. And if you have the time to really want to get into conversation, you can invite your wife, your spouse, your mate, the mother of your son. You can invite her as well. I don't mind talking, to her. But when I said I went through 13 comas, you just don't know. When the time of death really comes, everybody's going to have some inkling about it. But some people, and God knows the best, they might not even make it to the soil of the earth. You'll walk on the soil, but some of them may not even make it to it. And some people crucify themselves, meaning they, what they call themselves doing? Ashes. What they call it? I can't even think of the name right now. But besides embalming the body is an act of what they do with the cross from the Akanas, Akana, right? That's a way of just taking your organs out your body. You didn't come here without your organs being dismissed from out your body, and it should not be taken out of your body. So when they take that out your body, they either give it to somebody that needs it, if it's of any good, or they just use it for some other laboratory work. And I like the thing about what you're talking to Dr. Phil. That was really something. Because some people, you can't get through their thick head, But my sensitivity of slavery is my main course of observing society. I'm just glad that you, myself, we didn't have to go through it too detrimental when it comes to the lynchies. But to be infringed by police officers stopping us on the road, or just being stationed in your own residence, and they decide they want to come on as an entourage and take over your caliber. That's not cool. Those are the Lynchie generation of the former slave masters, children of the KKK. So I've already been covered this way. I've had my chemo on. You know, my husband said before he passed away, he said, I'm glad you came out dark skinned. You know, because people who are high yellow like this, sometimes they don't know if they're coming or going. But this is just a small inkling. And if you don't want me to talk to you no more, that's fine too. If I don't become a contestant to be a recipient for that which you want to send out as a blessing, God knows what's best for me. But you, as my brother, I tell you all the time, nothing's going to change without change itself. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the court case about slavery again. The last time they did court cases like that or did anything of the such, it was with Alex Haley's Queen. I wanted to deal with a court case, you know, court case. Cut it. Because too many of our children are in jails right now. I don't know how many is in there, and I guarantee if I was to stand there, my eyes is filling up right now. It will hurt me to my heart because those children have been being segregated not only from their parents because of their behavior and not being raised properly or not listening when they're given wisdom, you know, to not do a thing, but they also suffer because now they're segregated to being less of the young men that they was to be in the world. Just pour some on my hand. Just pour some on my hand. Or they're segregated from women or females. And that's how our children become gay. Faggots. You know, those who are strong enough to hold their own, and I mean hold their own, Lord be, have mercy on them. Because there's a struggle in that jail. I prayed to go in there. I don't want to go in there again, you know, for nonsense. And I don't want to go in there just to be going. But I know what they do now. So I'm not blind from that. And I'm definitely not blind from the deceitfulness of some Caucasian people. I don't blame all of them because I know some of them were very caring people when it came to us. And then other people, they just didn't give a mother. You know what I'm saying? And
Man, get the bag.
and and this is one of those children. You know, another thing about people is that sometimes they're raised differently and they have a different perception in life. I was a child that was born 30 days early, and you have a lot of premature children out here that don't know their position, you know, as to identify with their full status of their manhood or their womanhood, you know, as they're growing. But that's fine. And then at times it's not fine. I'm really concerned about the next generation. So if you have any real thoughts, you know, and you really understand what I have to say, you know, I think it's very important that it can be designated and implicated in another scene that is very serious. I don't mind joking sometimes, but sometimes the joke is not funny. And I seen that you wasn't really joking with Dr. Phil, so that's cool, you know. But to match up with someone that really, you know, stand on the boundaries with yourself, you know, approaching some of those things that some of the guest host speakers get away with, it's all cool. I'm here. and I'll receive you as you want to be received. I say, inshallah, God willing, as He will. So one of my sons that passed away, his name was Isa also, so Jesus. And you are the best one to get anything out of what I have to say to you, for the most part. Blessings to your grandmother, but I would love to meet your grandmother one day. And sometimes when I'm talking to you, you know, I may get a little hearing every now and then, but I'm very down to earth. I'm going to say peace be with you, okay? Talk to you later. Peace.